Hello everyone. Welcome back to EDUCARE Teaching Learning channel. Thank you for all my subscribers. For those who are watching my videos without subscribing, please subscribe my channel and watch my videos. Your support is my strength. Let's go to our channel. Story of the day. Once there lived a letter D. The letter D used to be very happy always. Whatever happens to letter D, it will not mind, but it will be very happy around it. Letter D had a friend, letter U. This letter U always seems to be confused. How this letter D is always so happy. Whatever happens, this D seems to be very happy. Never minding anything. Always I can see letter D only smiling. Okay, I will think of a plan. I will try to make this letter D sad at least or cry one day. So this letter U, being a friend, wanted to test or wanted to bet this letter D and said that I will definitely make you cry one day. So one day he thought of a plan and then took letter D out. Okay, come, today is an auspicious day. Both of us will go out for many things and let me see if you are not trying to cry or be sad for any one incident at least. I bet you will definitely cry for that. Letter D for that also smiled and agreed for his bet. He took letter D out for a play, a drama like. In that he took him for a tragedy play actually. So in that tragedy play, the ending would be very sad that will make audience definitely cry. So thinking that this letter D will definitely cry looking at that play, tragedy of the play. The play ended, came to the climax, and this letter U was only crying, but letter D was not crying. Then he thought of a next plan. Okay, let's go and eat ice creams. I know that you are like letter D is fond of ice creams. So let's eat full ice creams. That is more than our limit. Let us eat more ice creams. So this letter U took him to ice cream parlor and got him more ice creams, more than a limit. They might have eaten at least 20 ice creams at a stretch. This letter U thought that if he eats more ice creams at a time, he will definitely get headache and he will be upset for that before evening. So he ate all the ice creams, but still letter D was smiling. Then he again thought, this fellow was still smiling only, whatever I do. Yes, let me go for a game, UFO ball. We know that nobody will win so easily in that UFO ball. So this letter U always wins in that UFO ball. So he had very confidence that he will win and letter D will lose the game. So thinking that, he took him for the game. In that both of them played, where as expected letter U won the game and letter D lost it. Letter D even then was not sad. Though he was defeated or though he lost the game, he was not sad. Instead, he was still smiling. So this letter U was confused and asked letter D, I took you to the tragedy play. I made you to eat more ice creams and then I took you for a game where there is no chance of you winning. In everything you were only smiling. How come it's possible? Letter D said, because of you I have got chance to, today is very auspicious day. I have got chance to go and watch for a play. Then I ate more ice creams because of you. and I never played this game, but still I had a chance to go for this UFO ball game. That is only because of you. I look into that perspective than losing or eating more ice creams or in a tragedy. So, if we keep appreciating little things in our life, we will never mind about the challenges that is facing us. That's the moral of the story. Appreciate little things around you and be happy always. Be confident. If you are happy and confident, whatever challenges, everybody will face challenges in your life. The challenges, whatever is coming to you, will never be minded. What is genetics? Genetics is the study of heredity. What is this heredity? Heredity is transfer of genes or transfer of characters from parents to offspring. That is, we are similar to our father and we are similar to our grandfather. Some of them might be telling you are very similar for your grandfather. Your grandfather is very tall and even you are tall. The same thing, but father might be short. So where did you get this tallness? Then they'll be telling that this tallness is from grandfather. So that is transfer of characters. The tallness is character. So this genetics deals about the transfer of characters from one generation to next generation. What are the characters transferred? How they are transferred from one generation to another generation is called as genetics. Who is the father of genetics? Why is he called as father? Father is the one. All of our fathers are called as head of the family because they lead the family. They was the first one to lead and guide the family. Likewise, this genetics concept was the first brought into picture by this scientist called Gregor John Mendel. That's why he is called as father of genetics. Next, what is inheritance? What do you mean by inheritance? It is transfer of characters from parent to offspring. So as I said, the transfer of characters, whatever may be, color of the eye, color of the hair, tallness, shortness, these are all called as characters. So characters from either from grandparents or from their parents is passed on to the next generation. We call it as inheritance. What is variation? Variation is difference in characteristics. Difference in characteristics. Characteristics. What do you mean by characteristics? Let me take a pen. If I ask you what is the characteristics of a pen, what will you say? The pen is meant for writing. Pen is meant for, like some pens are even meant for highlighting. And some pens are even meant for like erasing also. Nowadays pens are all designed for erasing also. So if I ask the characteristics, you will write all these points. Characteristics of a eraser. For example, eraser is meant for erasing. That is what is the characteristic feature of eraser. Likewise, characteristics, transfer of or difference in characteristics. Difference in characteristics means, as I already said, hibiscus plant is there. Hibiscus plant's characteristics is it can able to give out more number of flowers. On another side, I am taking rose plant. Rose plant characteristics are it can able to give different colors of flowers. When I am crossing these two, the resultant variant, I call it as an variant because it is varying, differing from the parents. Parents both have different characteristics and the variant will have combination of these two characteristics. So this is variation. The difference in characteristics is called as variation. Next, difference between character and trait. Every time you will come across this word trait in this chapter, genetics. Character, I already told you, character is nothing but the tallness or shortness. You comprise, like you precise these and tell it as height of something, either for a human being or for a plant. Okay, that is tallness. That is height of something is called as a character. Then what is trait? Take for example color of the eyes. Color of the eyes, in general we are talking about color of the eyes. That is character. But when we go in depth, in detail about color of the eyes, that is what color of the eyes can be varying. Some of them can have brown, some of them can have blue. So that is what is color of the eyes, and color of the eyes is your character and blue is your trait. Then second example is hair shape. That is, some of them may have curly hair, some of them may have straight hair. So hair shape is your character and curly and straight hair are types of hair shape. That is your traits. Third example is vision. We all of us have normal vision, but some of them will have color blindness. Some of them, very rare cases, genetic disorder it is, color blindness. So those difference is called as trait, and in general they come under the category vision. This is your character. Next is homologous chromosomes. Homologous chromosomes. I already explained in my previous video what is homologous chromosomes. That is, you will have sister chromatids. Look at this diagram. This diagram, A and B are the genes. See, in the two, they are called as sister chromatids. Sister chromatids, all the genes A and B are the same. They have same genes. They are called as homologous chromosomes. Whereas here I have written non-homologous, which means they are non-sister chromatids. They are not similar. The chromatids or the genes are not similar. If you see, there's an A gene and here there's a B gene and here there's a C gene and here there is D gene. So they are called as non-homologous chromosomes. They are called as homologous chromosomes. If they have same genes and different genes, they are called as non-homologous chromosomes. Next, type of chromosomes. There are two types of chromosomes. They are autosomes and allosomes. Totally we have 23 pairs of chromosomes, that is 46 chromosomes. This 23 is divided into two types. One is autosomes and another one is allosomes or sex chromosomes. This 22 pairs, autosomes and allosomes are sex chromosome. One pair is very distinct in human beings. That is, for males they have X and Y chromosome and for female they have X and X chromosomes. Next, what is gene and what is genome? The gene is a segment or fragment of DNA which codes characteristic features. I already told you what is characteristic feature. That is, for an example, tallness of a human being or color of the eye or characteristic features. So who is responsible for that? It's the gene. Where is this gene present? It's a segment of DNA. Next, what is genome? Genome is a full complement of DNA. That is, one fragment of DNA. One full complete set of DNA is called as a genome. Next is mutation. Mutation is sudden changes in one or more genes on its number or structure of genes. So the sudden change. Why do you have sudden change? During copying, during this DNA copying or during DNA replication, if it is not properly replicated or copied, this will lead to mutations. It can be due to insertion of a gene, or it can be during deletion, or it can be during duplication. So this sudden changes may occur during insertion of a gene or deletion of any gene or duplication. Continuing with mutations. Mutations are sudden change in one or more genes or its number or its structure. If there is any change in the usual number of chromosomes or in the structure of chromosomes or in one or more genes, we call them as mutations. Then an example I will be giving you. This is a normal gene sequence. A, B, C, D. Please don't think that this A, B, C, D are the name of the genes. I have just given it as an example. A is a type of gene, B is a type of gene, C is different type, D is different type, E is different type, F is different type, G and so on. All are different types of genes. Just for identification, I have used these alphabets. Next, this is a normal gene sequence where it is arranged according to an order. Then, mutations due to insertion means inserting, adding some gene. See, A, B, C, D, F, G, H is the actual gene sequence. I have added I here to the normal gene sequence. So there will be mutations for this gene sequence in that particular DNA because of addition of or insertion of I gene. Next is deletion. We know deleting some gene or removing one gene from its sequence. See, A, B, C, D, E, F, G is not there, actually H is there. So what is deleted here? G is deleted actually. So that is deletion. So there may be mutations because of deletion of G gene here. Then duplication, duplicating. I already told in my previous video, duplicating is copying the same thing. Here what is getting duplicated? Any one gene is getting duplicated. It's not that only one gene will get duplicated. There may be many, one or more genes based on the power of mutations. There may be one or more genes, there is a chance of copying. So here see, A gene is getting duplicated and the remaining ones are all the same one only. It's identical, same. So A gene is getting duplicated. So these are the types or the reasons of gene mutations. It can be insertion, it can be deletion, and it can be duplication. Next is types of mutation. There are two types of mutations, somatic mutation and germline mutation. Somatic means the bodily cells. The body, if the mutation occurs in the bodily cells, they are called as a somatic mutation. These somatic mutations are non-inheritable. They don't pass. The cells, the mutated cells do not pass to the next generation. So they are called as inheritable. Example, breast cancer. Breast cancer cells are mutated cells. They don't get passed to the next generation. Next is germline cells. Germline, the word means reproductive, reproduction, reproductive cells. If the mutation occurs in the reproductive cells, it is called as germline mutation. So since it is reproductive cells, it will be seen in or it occurs in egg or sperm. Egg or sperm. It is definitely inherited. As it is through egg, the baby grows and passes on to the next generation. It is inherited. Continuing, the next term is allele. Gene and allele are sister words. What is gene? It's a fragment of DNA. It's an unit of DNA. What is allele? The alternate form of a gene. For example, I'll say a gene is responsible for height of a plant. What is that height of a plant? It may be tall or it may be short. So the genes that are responsible for that height or tall, that is tall or short, is alternate form of a gene, which you call it as an allele. Next, phenotype. In genetics, we every time come across phenotypic ratio, genotypic ratio. Mendel has used this word phenotype many times. So that phenotype means the external appearance, height of a plant, color of the flower, color of the pod, color of the stem, position of the flower, everything we can see from outside. That is your external appearance. That is, Mendel called it as phenotype. Next is genotype. Geno means the genetic makeup. So who is responsible for this external features? It's the genes. So those genes responsible for this phenotype are called as genotype. Next, homozygous. Homo means same. Zygous means we know it's an egg. So if the egg contains pair of alleles which are similar, both the genes are similar in a chromosome, they are called as homozygous. That is capital T, capital T. This is one set of chromosome, this is one set of chromosome. Both are The same genes in the chromosomes, capital T, capital T. Small t, small t. These two are responsible for tallness. This two is responsible for some other character. This is responsible, capital R, capital R. Assume it can be round shape of the seed. It can be, Y can be yellow color of the seed. So both are same, similar. They are called as homozygous. Next is heterozygous. Hetero means different. Pair of alleles are dissimilar or different. Capital T and one small t, which means two genes are different. Capital R, small r. Capital Y, small y. Next, dominant gene. Which gene is called as dominant gene? Take for example, I'll tell you an example. In a class of 10 students, for example, no class will have 10 students actually, just for an example, 10 students, one student will be called as a leader because he has that ability to have that dominancy in himself. He can dominate others. He can rule others. If he says, others will obey. That is dominant. Okay. So genes also, one gene, when pair of genes are there, one will be dominant and other one will be obeying for this dominant gene. So that is called as dominant. The trait that is expressed because of this dominant gene is called as dominant. Next is recessive gene. And the gene which is obeying the dominant gene, that is, it is suppressed. Its character is not being expressed. The trait is not being expressed, is called as recessive gene. That is the trait masked or suppressed. Then monohybrid. Mendel used this term monohybrid. As the word says hybrid, hybrid means a mixture. He is going to mix the characters. In that type, he has taken only one pair of contrasting characters, contrasting the varying characters. If he has taken only one character of a plant in a cross, it is called as monohybrid. Dihybrid, di, two characters, two pair of contrasting characters, opposite characters. For two plants, the two pairs of contrasting characters are being taken. It is called as dihybrid cross. Then pure breeding. What do you call as breeding? Breeding is crossing over. Pure breeding means the character whatever Mendel has taken for crossing and taken into consideration, that character is remained unchanged even after many crossings, many generations. Even after so many crossings or even after so many generations, the same character is being passed on. Take for example, the tallness of a plant is, Mendel has taken two tall plants and he has crossed it. The next generation he will get tall plant only. This tall plant is again crossed with another tall plant in the second generation. The third generation he will get tall plant only. So now we call that as pure breeding. We are crossing only pure tall variety only in successive generations. Next is sex determination in human beings. How sex is being determined for a baby in account of chromosomes. Mother has XX chromosome and father has XY chromosome. If the egg which contains X chromosome is fusing with a sperm with X chromosome, it results in a baby with XX chromosome and the baby would be a girl. Then, if the egg which contains X chromosome is fusing up with a sperm with Y chromosome, then the resultant baby will have X and Y chromosomes and the baby would be a boy. That's the sex determination in human beings. Next is Mendel's story. What is Mendel's story? We call Mendel as father of genetics. Why is he called as father of genetics? I already told you. What is the story? For every invention, there will be a small story before. Mendel's story is, he is a very passionate gardener. He is very passionate. He had a great passion for plants, growing plants. And he loved to see the flowers, fruits for the plants. So, when he saw such plants, The same plant is giving different colored flowers in the next generation. The same plant is giving different types of fruits in the next generation. It keeps varying. How come parents and siblings? How come parent is giving different different identity children? They are not similar actually. Parents are different, but the children are different. How come these are all possible? He started thinking about it. All scientists used to think more for such great inventions. They started thinking. In those days, they didn't have such technology to browse and search everything and then find out the information. That's why they are called as scientists. Their brains, they gave work only for the brain. That's how Isaac Newton sat under a tree. An apple fell on his head. He started thinking about why apple fell on my head, why apple came down and fall, why is it not going up. That's how he found out gravitation laws. Same way, Mendel also, through the garden, through his own passion of plants, he discovered Mendel's laws of inheritance. Today, we are all based on genetics only. We are all dependent on genetics. We are all not similar for our parents, but we come from those parents. Our siblings, our sisters, brothers, we are not similar, but we come from a same parent. How is that possible? They explained and they told Mendel's law. For his experiment, he has selected in his own garden itself pea plant. Why did he selected pea plant? Because the pea plant is bisexual. And what do you mean by bisexual? The same flower has two sexes, that is male and female. Male reproductive part is androecium and female reproductive part is gynoecium. The same flower has both male and female. If it has male and female flowers, then the same flower does not depend on other flower for pollination. It can self-pollinate, that is, the male pollen grains can shred over the ovary of the female in the same flower. So it's very easy for pollination. Next, the same pea plant has yielded many varieties. The pea plant has given different varieties. The same plant is giving different varieties of peas. Third one, pea plant is an annual plant which produces more offsprings. Annual plant. The plant is called as an annual because it lives only for 1 year. In that 1 year itself, it gives fruits, flowers, everything. The reproduction, everything gets over in that 1 year, and after 1 year, the plant dies off. That is called as an annual plant. So, this annual plant, pea plant is an annual plant. It gives out more offsprings in this 1 year itself. Next, this pea plant is easily available. You cannot search for that plant for his experiments. So, Mendel has taken pea plant because it is easily available and it has short lifespan. As it is annual plant, it has very short lifespan. The last topics in basic of genetics is why Mendel has selected pea plant, because it has 7 contrasting characters. Those 7 contrasting characters are: number 1, flower color, color of the flower. In dominancy, it is purple, and in recessive, it is white. See the variation. The same pea plant is giving 2 different colors of flower, purple color and white color. Purple is said to be dominant. That is, most of the flowers will be purple in color. And in second contrasting character is plant height. Height of a plant. Some of the pea plants are tall and some of them are short. Maybe in the first generation it is tall plant. In the next generation it might be short plant. See the variation. Tall is said to be dominant. That means most of the pea plants are tall only. Next, third one, seed shape. Shape of the peas. Shape of the peas seed. It is round and dominant, and recessive it is wrinkled. Round means plain. Wrinkle means it has some constrictions in it. So round is dominant one. Next, fourth one, seed color. Color of the seed. Yellow and green. Most of the seeds are yellow only. That is, dominant is yellow and some of them will be green. Next, pod color. Pod. where the seeds are enclosed. The seeds are enclosed in the pod. That is pod. Color of the pod is also varying in some of the pea plants. It's in dominant case it is green color and in recessive case it is yellow. Next is position of flower. Position of flower. Where does the pea plant flower is been blooming? It is blooming in the axillary. The position of the flower is axillary. What is axil part? Assume this is the stem and this is the leaf. This we call it as nodal region. And the joining or the connecting point between the stem and the nodal part is called as your axil. If the flower arises from axil part, we call it as an axillary flower. Next is recessive. It is terminal flower. Terminal means at the tip of the stem. It is terminal. The last one is shape of the pod. Shape of the pod is inflated, that is plain. See, look at this, the pod will be like this and the seeds are, pea seeds are like this. That is dominant one. Next, in the recessive form, it is constricted. It will have bulges like this. So, each bulge will have one seed, that is constricted. So, since these 7 contrasting characters are there in the pea plant, Mendel has selected pea plant for all his experiments and he was successful also in proving the laws of inheritance. This is what is the basics of genetics in this chapter. In my next video, I will be starting up with in-depth of this chapter. If you like my videos, like, share and comment also. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you for supporting me.